Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Chelsea, and welcome to
Nick and Chelsea's Gen Excellent Adventure,
where we chronicle 50-something parents of a 6-year-old as we move from the USA to the UAE to the EU.
Yeah, I guess we had a little birthday here in the last month or so. So we do have to edit our tagline a little bit. But anyway, you can follow our journey on our Instagram page, Nick Chels Gen Excellent Adventure, or just type in the name of this podcast. If you have any questions or subjects you'd like us to address, go ahead and send them to us through our Instagram page.
Love the Instagram page. To recap, yes, we are moving to the EU. As we chronicled in our last episode, we're heading to Brussels, Belgium, which is very exciting. So check out the last episode for all the details about that.
However, we still have some prior business to finish up. First of all, we have to complete our Spain series. Way back when, we did 2 episodes about our 5-week stint in Spain during remote learning because of the war in the Middle East. The first episode centered on why we chose Spain's Malaga region as our ultimate landing spot. And then the second one, we talked about what it was like living in Spain.
Yeah, but while we were there, we also took a little time being tourists, not as much as we would have liked because I was working, but we did enjoy just seeing a few areas. So this is our third and final episode, and we're going to go over being tourists in the area of Spain we were in.
Yeah, so let's start talking about some of the places we did get a chance to explore. And I guess we should start with the actual city of Malaga.
Yeah, Malaga is absolutely beautiful. One of our friends had said it was her favorite city in Spain. I think Spain is also her favorite country. So that was part of why I was looking at it. But a large part of why I was looking at it is just from research, learning that there were loads of expats in that region. Mm-hmm. And while that might not be great for everyone, that was great for us because we wanted to be able to communicate and meet people for our kid to play with.
Now, Malaga City. Now, we were stationed in Benalmadena, the town on the coast there that was in the Malaga province.
Yes.
But Malaga City was what, maybe 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Away from where we were staying. So it wasn't far, but it was...
The old town was.
Yeah. So it was enough, though, that it did feel a little bit like a journey to get there.
Definitely. I mean, we had a car, so it was fine. We could have taken the bus. Lots of people take the bus, but since we had a car, we used it. So on our first weekend there, we did go into the old town just like briefly, barely. But we also went to this big park in the middle of downtown that we had been told about. And it's a really beautiful park to walk through.
Well, what it is it's kind of this very long, narrow park that kind of splits the main road along the water there.
Yes.
In the city. So I don't know, what it was, like maybe 50 feet across or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you would wander through it and it'd have different sections. It would have sections with a lot of vegetation, sections with fountains.
Yep.
There was a playground or two that were kind of interspersed amongst all of that.
And I think at one point it's on both sides of the road.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. So the playground is not amazing. I would say for a Spanish playground, that was like the least... the worst playground we went to, honestly, because so many of the playgrounds we've been to were amazing. But it was still a lovely, lovely place to be. And there's loads of fountains and just kind of that Spanish art feel everywhere. I loved that. The greenery, the just plants they have everywhere. The horticultural experience is very, very nice. And I think that T did make a friend there.
Yeah, when we were at the playground, it wasn't a great playground, but we did run into another Spanish or English speaker there.
Yeah, they were visiting. They were leaving like the next day, but it was like the father and son and the mom and daughter were out shopping or something.
Yes.
So they
were from Pennsylvania, right?
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so got a chance to play a little bit there. But it's really, less of a playing kind of park and more of a really walking kind of park.
Yeah, it's like a meandering park.
Yeah, it's designed, to be long. So it is meant for being able to stroll and to walk.
Yeah, and if you are wanting a beautiful walking experience to go from one area to another, do through the park. Mm-hmm. No reason to walk on the sidewalk, and you can walk through the park. Anyway, it's very pretty. They have a couple, I think, stands set up to sell water and ice cream and all that stuff. Yeah, very nice place. Again, if you want like a couple hours of playground, that's not your place. Mm-hmm. But if you want beauty, it is.
Well, and like we said, it is kind of long and meant to be walked along the length of it. Well, at the far end of it, that's where it kind of connects up with Old Town Malaga.
Yeah, and it also is really close to the waterfront. Yeah. So Old Town Malaga, we didn't see much on that first day because we got ice cream, and then we sat in a random seat that was laid out for the next day's Easter procession.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, the week, the starting week of Holy Week.
Yes.
Semana Santa started that week.
So they were in the process of putting out all the seats and the benches for what was going to be the parade route.
Yeah.
So we got a little preview. We claimed our seats.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes,
in the
we
front
did.
row.
We were like, well, since they're here, let's just eat some ice cream. And then we saw them like setting up seats all over the city. So that was kind of cool. We were like, oh, I wish we could come back tomorrow. We could not. But it was a nice place to be and to kind of watch them setting up. You saw what a big deal it was. I since have seen many reels of the procession in Malaga City, and I was like, wow, that's kind of amazing. I'm not Catholic, but I can like respect the tradition around it. It's really a really huge deal in Spain.
But while we didn't spend a whole lot of time exploring that particular time, we did manage to get back to Old Town later in our time we were there.
We did.
And we really did get a chance to kind of explore and wander around the old narrow streets, see all the various different types of restaurants and shops and everything that they have there in the Old Town. It did have a very Old Town sort of feel to it.
I mean, if you don't love an Old Town, who even are you? I mean, Old Town, really, even in an Old Town in the U.S., which isn't going to be as old as Old Towns in the European area, they're charming. Yeah, it's beautiful. There's just shops and restaurants everywhere, people eating in different squares. Yeah, we really wandered.
Yes.
When we came back for the Old Town Day. We did two things. We went to a flamenco show in the morning. We parked near the harbor, and then we went to a flamenco show near the harbor. Very touristy, but totally fun. Totally fun. You'd never been to one before, right? That was your first one?
Well, I mean, specifically a flamenco show. Like, I'd been to a flamenco performance, like at the Folklife Fest in Seattle, but I hadn't been to like a dedicated flamenco show before. And this is one where they had the singers there, and they had the dancers there, and they were interacting with one another, and
the guitarist.
Yes. And I don't know how much you know about flamenco dancing, but it is very it's very loud.
Yeah, it's very loud. It's all encompassing because you're using your feet. You're basically, it's like a heavy tapping.
Yeah.
I've seen flamenco before, so I was prepared for that. I like a flamenco show. Our kid liked it for like half the show, and then it was too loud for him. But he made it through.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, it was a substantial show. I mean, you have the dancers; they were definitely like working up a sweat and everything, and having to take like breaks. One would go, and then the other would go. And then they would go together for a while, because they were working hard.
Yeah.
I mean that show probably went for like an hour.
Yeah, and it was nonstop, and it was great. I mean, I enjoyed it. You watch the interaction between them and between the guitarists, and it's just cool. And I like watching the costumes too, because she had several costume changes.
That's right.
That was interesting. Yeah, it was good. And that we just did a daytime show, so obviously as tourists, they like lots of daytime options. And then after that, we went over to Old Town and first we wandered through the park and into Old Town. And then we just wandered Old Town, and we went into all these old squares. And one of my favorite parts, which I just now remembered, was when we saw those boys just kicking a soccer ball around.
Yeah, that's right.
You remember? It was just kind of this like very residential square. There were no shops around.
It's off the beaten path. We had wandered farther than I think most of the tourists go into Old Town by that point, because again, like you said, there wasn't anything really to see there. That was out towards the residences.
Yeah, and we were not getting any food at that point. We didn't want to go shopping. We had our child with us, so at this point, I'm just trying to keep our kids sane, and I like to point out pretty things to him, and then he'll start looking for more pretty things. So I think at that point we were just doing that. Oh, look at that beautiful balcony! Wow, do you see those plants? And he was starting to look himself a little bit. And then it was really fun. He loved watching the older boys play soccer.
Yeah, and of course
football.
you've got all the old architecture there,
Mm.
there in the old town. So you got stone buildings, very narrow streets that aren't necessarily going in a grid pattern.
Yeah. Cannot get enough of it.
And
So pretty.
So you don't necessarily know what you're going to walk into when you get into the kind of next square or opening or anything like that. So every little corner is kind of a new discovery.
Yep.
And it's just fun doing those, kind of exploratory walks in an area you don't know about.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention this, but there is that very large fortification up the hill above town, which I don't remember what it was called.
Nope.
But what you could see were the people who were walking up the switchback hill to get to it.
Hiking, basically.
And how much work they must have
my
been
gosh.
doing in order to get up to that overhanging fortification up there.
We could do it, but it would take a real effort, especially with tea.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was a very picturesque thing to see in the background of the city there.
It's so true. I mean, that city is absolutely stunning. Everywhere in the Costa del Sol is stunning. And I don't know, I see things that call it Andalusia. I see things that call it Malaga province. I see things that call it Costa del Sol. I couldn't tell you where one ends and the other begins, but the whole region is just absolutely gorgeous.
Now, not only did it look good, but we also had times when it tasted good.
Yes.
And specifically, we're going to talk about the restaurant we went to on the beach on a different day.
Yeah, so this is a kind of our final... Well, it wasn't our final, but one of our other just moments in Malaga. So none of our days in Malaga were a full day. We would have half a day here and half a day there, or a couple hours here. And our friend that we'd gotten to know through the Expats in Malaga Facebook page, who'd given us some things and helped us out and let us borrow a booster seat, all these different things. She recommended this particular place called, it was a chiringuito, which is like a fish barbecue on the beach, basically. So there's a number of chiringuitos, and this one was called Chiringuito Oasis. She told us where it was. It was on her side of town. I cannot remember what that was, the eastern side, maybe? We don't know. Anyway, it was on the beach, and that vibe of that area was very, this might sound strange, but beach lifey, but residential tourists. So kind of what it felt like you saw smaller hotels that were like beach hotels, but they were kind of in the neighborhoods. They weren't actually on the beach, but a couple blocks away. But there were also loads of apartments, loads and loads of apartments, residences like that. I really enjoyed that area. It was so pretty, and true enough, that chiringuito was superb.
Yeah, so it's mostly, it's a restaurant where I guess was a little bit kind of inside seating, but a lot of outside seating as well. And the inside seating, it's open air. It's not closed in.
No.
So even if you're inside, you're still feeling the breeze. The weather is so perfect there that it doesn't matter.
Perfect.
And so we were outside.
Yeah.
And we were sitting right above the water.
Yeah.
Right above the beach. And then we got this just wonderful grilled fish, which they do the grilling on grills that are outside.
Yes.
They're on the beach there. And I can't remember what kind of fish it was.
No, I have no idea.
But it was like
a whitefish.
Yeah, it was
a flaky
white fish of
whitefish.
some sort. And it was delectable.
Yeah. And it was like a full head. So you saw the whole fish with its head.
Well, we didn't realize how much we were actually ordering. We thought we were getting, a portion of fish. It turned out to be the whole fish.
Yeah, she gave us so many suggestions, so we took quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So we got this Russian salad, and I loved that. You didn't love it. It was like a tuna potato salad. It was so yummy. We got these grilled shrimp that she'd suggested. All these different things. She gave us the Spanish words, so we ordered it all in Spanish, and then we got the fish, not realizing it was a full fish in addition to all these other things.
Right. It got eaten. It was so good. I wasn't going to let any of that fish go to waste. But yeah, it was a great meal, and it was, one of our last eating out meals there in Spain. So it felt very nice to have something that was both a great setting and great food.
Yes.
And something that was recommended by somebody who's pretty local.
Yes.
As opposed to being a tourist thing, because in Benalmadena, just about everything was very touristy.
Yeah, and the food where we were in Benalmadena, which just wasn't quite as good as everything. The 3 meals we had in Malaga, where we were like, oh my, this is so good. So you got a different experience. And one of those was just random. The first time we went to Malaga, the day we went to the park, I don't think we've talked about this. We went up we did actually talk about this a little, I think. But we went up, we saw this restaurant. I just kind of saw it, and it was at the base of where people start hiking to go up to the fort. And people were sitting outside, and I was like, that's so picturesque. Let's go there. And then we went there, and nobody spoke English. But then they changed servers because they knew we needed that help. And that food was, that and the chiringuito were my favorite meals of that 5-week stay.
Yeah.
It just was so good. She recommended this soup. It was so yummy. And everyone around us was speaking Spanish. It was just such a lovely experience. I was like, oh my gosh. I love it here.
Yeah.
I love it here. Okay, so that's Malaga City.
Yes, and we mentioned Benalmadena is where we were staying. Well, we also did a lot of exploring around in that kind of general area.
Yes.
Kind of doing more touristy things within the area where we were living.
Yes.
And let's first talk about, we went up to this town called Arroyo de la Miel.
Arroyo de la Miel. It's on your way to the Pueblo, which is at the very top of the city.
Well, we should say what the Pueblo is then.
Oh, okay.
So Benalmadena also has something called Benalmadena Pueblo. So the town of Benalmadena is right there on the coast.
Yeah.
The Pueblo is actually up the mountain, really.
It's at the top of the mountain.
So you have to actually drive a ways to get to the Pueblo.
Yeah. Or take a bus.
Yeah, I mean, you're going, you have another town in between Benalmadena and Benalmadena Pueblo. So it's not connected to one another.
Yeah.
But it is way up the hill, and it gives you just these gorgeous views.
Oh my.
Of the water. I mean, you're looking down into the town and to the coastline and out into the Mediterranean, and it is just very picturesque.
You want to stop every 5 steps and take photos. You're looking at Spanish tile roofs over blue ocean and palm trees, and you're like, how am I here? This place is stunning. But Arroyo de la Miel still gives you some great views.
Well, yeah, it's basically on the way from Benalmadena to Benalmadena Pueblo. And so, our first weekend, we ended up there in Arroyo de la Miel because we were searching for
an Easter procession. Yeah, and so we couldn't go back into Malaga, but by then we understood, okay, this is a big thing. So I'm looking it up, and it says there's one at the Pueblo, and we didn't understand where the Pueblo was, so we ended up at Arroyo de la Miel and got a different procession. Equally awesome. We loved that. So we kind of saw how they do it, really do it, and people holding the palms and all of this.
We had 30 people holding up a giant float, basically.
Yeah.
Walking it, 30 feet before taking another break.
Yeah.
And so forth. And it has
so heavy.
A shrine to Jesus on top of it.
Yeah.
Or to Mary.
And then this one other random one that we saw on the actual Easter day. We were like, who's that? Yeah, it was really interesting. There are some things that are a little bit disconcerting because we're from the U.S. and hooded, masked people have a different meaning to us and than they do in these Spanish processions. But we know they don't mean the same thing, so you have to kind of move past that. Anyway, it was really interesting and beautiful.
Well, what was really kind of cool too is that we watched the beginning of this coming from the church.
Yeah.
And we were there for a while.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, we gotta go get lunch.
Yep. Yeah.
So we ended up going and finding lunch several blocks away.
Pizza.
And we're just sitting outside there, and suddenly it's coming back at us down the main drive. And so we didn't get a great view of it because it was very cramped and crowded at the beginning there.
Yeah.
And we didn't even stay that long enough to see the whole thing. But on the way back, we got to see the whole thing while we were sitting there eating our food.
Exactly. And we were like, oh, we could have just been eating the whole time. We didn't know. No, it was fine. It was just a interesting experience and beautiful experience. And aren't we lucky that we got to have it? That was such amazing timing.
Yeah. And, it was we don't do a whole lot of Catholic ceremony things.
No.
So it was, even though I went to Catholic school growing up and was a regular mass attender.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've, really immersed myself in Catholicism.
Well, and I think it's safe to say that American Catholicism does not look like this. So, I mean, that's the thing is like, you don't have to be Catholic to appreciate the tradition and the care behind this. Mm-hmm. It was very much like, this is your neighborhood church and you're involved, whether you're actually attending church regularly or not. You're involved. You know people in it. Your family's part of it. You might be part of it. You really saw that. Like everybody knew everybody afterwards and so on and so forth. So the following week, we went to the actual Pueblo.
Yes.
And we didn't go for the procession. That was like hope, but we hadn't reserved any like restaurants anywhere.
Because this was actual Easter.
But we just went up there. Okay, well, let's just see. And we managed to get a seat at a restaurant outside. And so we saw the procession go by kind of like at the end of the block.
Yeah, it was like a block away. So we're only seeing what we can see between the beginning of one building on one corner and the beginning of the building on the next corner. So we're seeing, 30 feet of the procession at a time.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you're seeing it, and you also hear these things because they have bands.
Yes.
They have like marching bands that are playing, I don't know, I guess you have to say music of some sort at various times during it, not like throughout the entire parade.
Yeah.
But at certain times. And so, I mean, and you got the drums going. So you hear the procession coming.
Yes. And it's cool. You're like, ooh, can I see? Can I see? Yeah, we got big enough glimpses of the procession to see what was happening. And T enjoyed looking. And also we got great food. Mm-hmm. That was the best food we had in Benalmadena.
Up in the Pueblo?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's getting off of the beaten path of the beach tourists.
Yeah. I mean, there are tourists up there, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Also, the Pueblo itself, like just walking around, we talked about how the beautiful views are everywhere, but this is old, these are old buildings. They're all like whitewashed and everybody seems to take pride in their balcony areas. You just see flowers, more flowers. I was like, we could never live here because we would not be able to take such good care of those flowers.
Well, and the roads are very narrow. I mean, it's hard driving. Yeah. In fact, like during one part of that road, it was a stoplight to let people go one direction.
Yes.
And would change for people to go the other direction because there was really only one car width.
Yeah.
We would be walking down these roads that only motorcycles would be able to fit going down.
Yes.
It's kind of like Old Town, but it's small Old Town.
Yeah.
Whereas, in Malaga, it was big Old Town.
Yes. In my pre-child world, I would have been like, I'm going shopping because they had shops that were around and it would have been nice to just pop in and do those things. It's really hard to do that with tea, so I don't bother. But it really was charming. You just want to walk and walk and walk somewhere. And there's also squares up there for you to stop in or where they have people eating in cafes outside. And it's just so beautiful. I forgot to mention one thing about the Arroyo de la Miel. They have the funicular there. And then also the train goes from there. So there's a train station there and then the funicular to do like a ride up. What do you call those? Funicular or?
Yeah, the, oh man.
Blanking.
Yeah.
We're blanking in our 50s over here. But where you ride on a cord and you're hanging. Oh my gosh. I talk about this with Nick all the time. Like, I'm playing a constant game of Taboo.
Yeah. I'm with you on this one.
Oh my gosh.
I can't bail you out this time. Sometimes I can, but today I'm not doing
Somebody's going to tell us from this. Okay. Anyway, one of those, we'll call it a funicular because somebody called it that to us. Anyway, those are also up at Arroyo de la Miel. It's kind of fun to look at the train tracks because you can see them, and there's also parking up there for a whopping like €1.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we went up the mountain in our car, but if you didn't have that, you could get up the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, they have
in
buses
these.
going up there too. Yeah.
But I mean, this is a much more picturesque way.
Yes. Right.
To get yourself up there.
Yes.
And then, we also went back to the Pueblo like on our last night there.
Yes. So glad we did.
One last hurrah
Yep.
in the Benalmadena area, and had one last meal there.
Yep.
Just enjoyed again wandering through town to find a place.
Yep.
Found a place, met a couple with a kid there.
Yeah. So we
who
chatted.
They were vacationing from the UK.
Yeah, and they'd been there a few times, I think. And they were staying down in the beach area and had come up to eat dinner just to have some Pueblo time. Also, I think we were eating Indian food.
And then they had a daughter who was a little younger than T, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he was like having fun, sort of being the big kid with her.
Yes, as he does.
Which allowed us to actually have a little conversation with adults.
I know, it's thrilling. So excited. They were super nice. And then we wandered through the town to get back to the car. And it's just like such a beautiful place to wander. And we're walking downstairs and through alleys between homes where they can't drive. And I was like, I love it here. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And because it was up the hill, it was not as inundated with tourists.
Yeah.
The way that, say, Benalmadena down on the beach was, or that even Malaga City was.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it felt a lot less hurried, a lot less crowded.
Yeah.
And I think that I particularly enjoyed that feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, I love a crowd, as you know. I get a lot of energy from that, but I also love some quiet and love just kind of a quaint spot. And the Pueblo kind of gives you a little bit of both, to be honest. Like during the Easter, you got crowd, you go out into the square and it's packed with people. I enjoyed that because you felt life everywhere, and just a sense of community. But at the same time, it's still quieter. Yeah, it's really nice. Because part of the crowd for me is like, a big sense of community. I'm like in the world. Okay.
So that was kind of our local area that we were staying in. So we had Malaga City, which was about a half hour to the east.
Yeah.
Down the coast. Now a half hour to the west down the coast.
Even more like 40 minutes maybe.
Was the city of Marbella.
Yeah, Marbella is absolutely lovely.
And we mainly know about this is because that's at least the direction that T's Gaelic was.
Yes.
Gaelic football.
Yes.
And so that going out there for Gaelic football kind of gave us the opportunity to go stop at Marbella and check that out a little bit.
Yes, and so a couple things. Gaelic was always, and GAA as they call it, I think, was always on Sundays. So limited options because lots of things are closed, but you have you have an area to explore, not as many places to walk into. It's still really beautiful. And then I'm just going to mention that with the friends we made at GAA, the Extra Mile fam, she's on Instagram, and her husband, Jason Brophy Fitness. They're both on there. I think they live in Marbella and really, really love where they live. And they were transplants from the UK/Ireland, but had also lived abroad, I believe, in Thailand and potentially other countries as well. So I think it says a lot for well-traveled people to choose this town.
Yes. And so we had really one kind of morning, afternoon that we really spent there in Marbella.
Yeah.
And it ended up being in a way, kind of our Moroccan day.
Yeah.
Because we ended up at a Moroccan restaurant, first of all.
Well, actually, these were different days.
Were they different days?
Yeah, these were different days. So the first day was the park.
Okay.
The first day we just did the park. And we ended up at the top of the park. It's the super long park, sort of like in Malaga City, but much more recreational oriented, not as horticulturally oriented.
Yeah, better playgrounds. They had basketball courts and stuff too, or little soccer areas, on pavement.
Yes.
And also in between much more suburban roads rather than the giant highways.
Right, exactly.
That's flanked the park there in Marbella or in Malaga.
Well, and it had like apartments on either side. I just kind of such a nerd. I was like, oh, look at the laundry hanging. I'm like, oh, so silly about it. But then as they like, you kind of the park itself was sort of broken into segments. So you'd have like, oh, here's the courts segment. Here is an indoor gym. Which they were redoing, so you couldn't see it.
Here's the pond with all the turtles.
So many turtles. Yeah, which we spent a fair amount of time at. It was really fun for tea. And then at the down kind of near the bottom was where the playground was. And obviously spent a lot of time there. And up at the top was a skate park.
Yeah.
And I say the top because it did go up a sloping hill.
Yes.
This whole thing was up a hill. So at the top was a skate park, and we were actually at the skate park. And that's when T was like, I have to use the restroom. Yeah. So we ran, and I was looking around all the different places around different parts of that intersection. There were it was like a 5-way intersection. Yeah. I'm like, that place looks open, and there's no public bathrooms anywhere to use. So ran into this little cafe.
Yeah.
No one was in there. So you and T went to the bathroom, and I just started talking to the guy who was from Morocco. And it turns out, because Morocco's so close, this whole region, and especially Marbella, I would say, has loads of Moroccans. And so Moroccans speak like French and Arabic, mainly. So he'd been learning Spanish, so he spoke Spanish, and then he found out that I was English, and he doesn't know much English, and I don't know much Spanish. So while you guys were in the restroom, he and I were trying to have a conversation in Spanish, and then he would practice his English a little bit, and we were kind of going back and forth. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was my first moment of, oh my gosh, I really want to learn the language. This is fun. I'm kind of having fun with this. And I was doing terribly, but he was so patient because, he's been there.
Well, and this young man was just very, very friendly, too.
Oh, so friendly.
I mean, he gave T a treat, I think, right?
He was so nice, yeah.
And
he did.
This is for people who wandered into his establishment just to use the restroom.
I know. We weren't going to buy anything. Although I was like, we have to buy something.
Right.
This is terrible.
Didn't we
got canned drinks.
Yeah. Which is good because, it's a warm day too.
Yeah,
so
it was fine.
We needed something anyway. But yeah, I mean, it was nice, and it was, that was a really great area. We'd gone there once and not found any parking.
Right.
I think,
yes,
because it's just not a lot of parking there, and it's residential, so people are parking for where they're living.
I think we ended up in underground parking on that one.
On the second one.
Okay, yeah. So then on the second one, we went back thinking we'll get lunch, and that's what we did. And that time we ended up at an actual Moroccan restaurant, and we were like, oh yeah, it really is filled with Moroccans here. That's cool. So this time we were like, so we should eat some Moroccan food.
Yeah, and
obviously.
It was good, and also, it's kind of nice in that we understand that there's a strong Moroccan community in Brussels.
Yes,
and
we've learned that.
We were told by
friends who used to live in Morocco.
Our friends from Dubai.
Yes.
Who knew that there was this strong Moroccan presence in Brussels. So we will look forward to getting a chance to explore that.
Yeah, the same friends who love Malaga.
But yeah, that was sort of I will think of Marbella as associating it with Morocco specifically because of this, because we had different experiences with Moroccans.
Yes.
In that same little area of the city.
It's so fun. T and I also had one other Moroccan conversation at the beach in Benalmadena.
Oh, okay.
When I was there with him by myself. And of course, we were at the workout equipment, and he was obsessed with this guy who was just working out. And then the guy eventually did speak to T after we heard him speak. I think he might have said, somebody came over to him, maybe, I don't know who was with him, but they came over, and they spoke in Arabic, and we recognized a couple words. T did especially, but I think there must have been something really obvious like yalla.
Must have said inshallah.
I think they said yalla, which is let's go. But after that, I was like, oh, you're speaking Arabic, and then we spoke to him for a while because he spoke English, and we learned about the different dialects of Arabic and how a lot of it can be misinterpreted if you're not from that same region. Anyway. So it also hit us in Benalmadena.
Okay.
But it was kind of cool. All right, so this would have been a really great place for a sponsored commercial.
Yeah, we actually took a quick little break because we actually went to go see T have a little parade for the end of his bike camp.
Yeah, he did Pedalheads Bike Camp this week. He knows how to bike. Obviously, we've talked about that several times, but this was about road safety, and we thought, hey, if we're moving to Belgium, we should give him road safety.
Right, because we expect to be doing more actual, functional bike rides to get places there in Belgium. It's a much more bike-friendly country.
Yep.
And so it seemed like a great opportunity here to go ahead and get him to where he can do like hand signals. That was the big thing that he learned at this camp, is to be able to take his one hand off the handlebar so that he could do his hand signals.
He also learned little tiny jumps. He's very proud of them. It's adorable. So anyway, that's where we were. Not that you noticed we were gone, but we were.
Yes. But now let's get back to talking about our time as tourists in Spain.
Yeah.
And specifically, we have one last real thing to talk about. And this was kind of like our only real tourist trip that we took.
Yeah, it was like a full day. So for instance, I would have really liked to go to Sevilla.
Mm-hmm.
Sevilla was on my dream list, still is. And it was close enough that we could have done it, but we would have needed like an overnight.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't do it because we were pretty committed to GAA, to Gaelic.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did an overnight, we could have done Friday to Saturday, but we were just running out of room.
Well,
what we did is we prioritized T having play dates.
Yeah. Well, and also, because you were working all day.
Yes, right.
During the week, it just the opportunity to get away was a very small window.
It only could be weekends.
And so, really the day trip was really what we could do.
Yeah, and in 5 weeks is a long time, but not long when you're working.
Well, and we didn't know how long we were going to be there.
Right.
We thought maybe we would be there longer.
Yeah, we thought we'd be there through the end of the school year, so we would have more time to do these things.
So there wasn't the same sort of urgency, we got to do this now.
Yeah.
Because we're thinking we might be there for longer than we were.
Yeah. So, drum roll, if you've seen our Instagram back then, you might know that we went to this gorgeous historical town called
Granada.
Such a beautiful town. I remember my friend Jill, who I've known for years. She was my mentor as a school counselor. That was, I believe, her favorite city in Spain. She'd been years ago. And that stayed in my head all these years. And so it was one of the reasons we made it a trip.
And, it was a reasonable trip. It was maybe a 90-minute drive?
Yeah.
From where we were staying. So it wasn't, terribly difficult to get there. And so we did that. We made the drive out there. And also it helped that we had someone there to kind of meet in Granada.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where I'm always touting why I can't leave Facebook. and even though Meta makes us all crazy, I can't leave Facebook or Instagram. But Facebook it's the groups. It's the groups. And so like there's a really good group in South Seattle there, and then the way we found play dates in Spain was through these Facebook groups. And one of those groups, this woman responded to me and said, "Hey, Chelsea, we also just left Dubai. And we live in Granada. If you would like to meet up, if you come to Granada, please let me know." So that's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people sometimes astound me with their graciousness and their kindness and their generosity of spirit. So, and that was her. So we met up with her and her family, and they were going to already move to Granada. They were going to move in August, but because of the war situation, they left early. And so we met up with them. She told us where to go. They'd visited there several times, so they knew the area, including the whole Costa del Sol. Look up Granada on a map, Granada. It's a little more inland, but at about an hour and a half or an hour from the coast. And we met at this place called Mercado San Agustin. So Mercado, like a market. And so basically you walk inside and it's all these different shops and restaurants that are open air inside.
Yes.
So not open air, but like open seating inside.
Yeah. It's it reminded me a little bit of Florence.
Yeah, I see that. Of that, especially that big marketplace that we
where
went.
we had experienced a market similar to that there when we were on our honeymoon.
But much bigger. Like kind of like a tiny food court this one was.
A lot fewer statues of David as well.
Far fewer. Yes, no statues
So
of David.
that market we went to in Florence had like decorated, painted fake Davids.
Yes.
The famous Michelangelo statue. In fact, Florence has many fake Davids.
I know.
That became a kind of a running joke
Yeah.
for us, is all the fake Davids that you would find in Florence.
I was like, how do you know it's fake? Well, the one in the market was like covered in almost like graffiti. So that one was obviously fake. But some of the others, you were like, that's really good. Like, how do they know? Anyway, so we met at this mercado, and she also told us where to park. There was an indoor parking thing. And so it was interesting navigating the streets. You had to drive right through downtown, again, Old Town Granada, and just narrow streets. And we had a small car. Mm-hmm. And when we upgraded to a slightly bigger car, not because we meant to, but because our 30 days ran out and we had to go to a different company, we got a bigger car because that's what they had. And it wasn't that much bigger, but it was just bigger enough that I was like, I'm glad we're not going to Granada in this car. Like, the streets are so narrow. So anyway, you really see why small cars are important in Europe because of all these small little streets. But we got there, we went to the downstairs parking, and then we met them, and I think they'd already had a drink, and then we just went out to the square, right outside of that market, and then there were some restaurants to eat outside. So we did that.
Well, I mean, that's one of the great things about Granada. I mean, it has that, again, kind of old town feel to it, and there's these just squares.
Yeah.
That are, centers of town.
Which is really, like, from what I gather, everywhere in Europe. I just haven't been enough places to see that everywhere. I've seen it in Paris. I've seen it, not as much in London, I guess. No, there is outdoor seating. It's like pub seating.
Well, I mean, the weather just doesn't lend itself to the outdoor.
But they have it in Copenhagen. That's not as weather friendly. But anyway, it does seem to be kind of a community gathering space, right? Like these are all over. So it was really nice. Really pretty area. And then musicians, there were buskers and whatnot.
Well, and one thing that you really appreciate. So this couple that we met from Dubai, they had 2 young children as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So what happened is we're at this outdoor restaurant, and right kind of across the street was an outdoor play area.
Yes,
playground.
Man.
And so what happened is that we would sit at the table, the adults would, and the kids were just right there playing in the playground area. And you have mentioned how this seems to be more of a common scenario there in Europe than in the United States.
Yes, I mean, because I follow this woman, Professor Marina Cooley, or Prof Marina Cooley is her Instagram handle, and she's in Copenhagen right now, but she lives in Atlanta and teaches at Emory, and she talks about like the differences between, because she studies work-life balance, I think, and she talks about the difference in how these European cities are set up, and specifically Copenhagen. But we saw this in Spain too, where everywhere you go, it's more family friendly. Just everywhere you go. And, I see, and I know there are people who think that England is a lot more family friendly. And I don't know if I don't think I've spent enough time there to say, yes, that's true. But definitely saw it in Spain. And I am like really intrigued by it. I hope Belgium feels that way too. Yeah.
So we did our lunch there, and then we were in a spot where we could walk uphill through town to get a view of really what is the central site of Granada. And that's the Alhambra.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And that's an old fortress, basically, an old castle that's up on kind of the plateau there.
Yeah.
Now, we looked into getting tickets, and you needed to be like a month in advance to be able to get tickets to get
Not
there.
even a month. Like, there was nothing for a month, and I didn't even look past that. I was like, well, obviously we're going to be not able to do it. I think I looked at a week in advance, and I laughed because I was like, whoever sees me doing this, who's in the know, is like, what is she doing? Like, as if she can get tickets right now. But it was fine. I loved the view.
Well, what was great is because we were with this family that knew Granada,
Yes.
they knew that we could walk up to a great viewing spot.
I know, right from the square that we were, Yeah, and I was like, "What? This is beautiful." They're like, "Are you up for a walk?" And I thought it would be like much worse than it was. It was not. I mean, you can stop and take little breaks, but I mean, you're walking through these hilly streets, just kind of angling your way up, and there's views along the way. There's a couple buskers along the way.
Well, and you're like taking pictures of the architecture as you're walking up the hill.
Oh my gosh. And then looking at like, oh, people live here. Amazing. And I just want to comment on the buskers again because Glenn Hansard passed away a couple days ago and he was like the king of busking and honored buskers everywhere he went and performed. And so R.I.P. Glenn Hansard. Okay. Rest in peace. So moving back to Alhambra though, like that view at the top, you've never been there, right?
No, of course not.
I mean, just gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, you had a view not just of the fortress, but kind of you're up high, so you're seeing like the whole valley and everything.
And the city. Yeah. And it was nice. There's loads of tourists up there, but it was also it was like a kind of grayscale day.
But the vibe up there was very calm. I would
chill.
say it was not a touristy vibe up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you felt like the people who were hanging out were more locals than tourists.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like there was a tour bus sitting there with a bunch of people that had come out or anything like that. It felt much more of a relaxed setting rather than a tourist setting.
It didn't feel like everybody was from out of country. I think I heard Spanish speakers up there as well as other languages. And that was kind of nice. And some people were just sitting and talking, like not staring at the view, like they did the walk. Yeah. I could see that if you lived in that region, like let's say you lived in the old town, like that might be a walk you just do, you know, as exercise. And what a great thing to do. I mean, it was beautiful. People who are local might laugh at me hearing me say that. I don't know. But I thought it was beautiful. And it was not a super hot day, so that really helped.
Yeah.
It was kind of cloudy. And so, yeah. And then we got pictures of the kids up there. There was like an old fountain. Oh, that was another thing about Spain that I don't think we've talked about. All the beautiful fountains. Like fountains with drinking water built into basically art. Right. Like sculptured fountains.
This is, really old school. I mean, my experience was when we were in Rome, where you had all the ancient fountains were still working, and people would actually get their drinking water out of those.
And that's same in Spain.
A similar feel about that, particularly in Granada.
Yeah, and they also had a couple like that in Malaga, but you had to really look for them because at first you were like, oh, look at that beautiful. Oh, wait, that's a fountain. Well, we could drink out of that. Wow. But they also had just regular modern fountains. But anyway, I just loved that, seeing that water and seeing the fountains and everything. Just so much art built into the landscape. Yeah. So pretty. And we did the square. We did the playground.
And then coming back down, we returned to, was it the same square or was it a different square?
I think it was a different square. But before that, we stopped and got ice cream.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. And we stopped it was like the street below the Alhambra. Like we could see the cafe from where we were looking. Or not below the Alhambra, below the view spot. And then we walked down there and had ice cream. And then that was hard because the kids were very squirrely at that point. Yeah. Very, very squirrely. But and I saw people looking at us. I was like, oh, maybe this isn't quite as family friendly as that place below. Anyway, then we left. We went back down, ended up in a different square. And then there was flamenco starting.
Yeah, the busking.
Yeah, flamenco buskers.
It wasn't like a stage or anything like that. This was just two people. Yeah. It was a dancer and a musician who just set up shop right there in the square.
They were awesome.
And they were getting ready to start, and the kids, I think, decided they wanted to stop, and they all like laid down on the
it was so cute. They were all on their tummies.
Yeah.
Laying down.
Ready to watch. And so we got to watch a little bit of the show.
Yeah, these three boys. And our kid, I can't remember if the other kids were as focused as T was, but T was really focused on it. That kind of cemented the let's go to a flamenco show in Malaga for me. Because this was before we did that day. Yeah.
And so we stayed there and didn't watch like the whole show. We let them give them a coin.
Yes.
And then hightailed it back to the parking lot because you could see that the rain was coming.
Yes, exactly.
And somehow we timed it perfectly because we got to the market, got inside the door, and it just started pouring.
I mean, it was crazy, like the downpour. And then we were like, do we want to drive in this? No.
Yeah, we
So
actually
we just hung out on the market and waited.
we had a little fat like late lunch or something like
Or
that
early dinner.
because you wouldn't have been comfortable driving in rain that hard.
Oh yeah, because I walked around that market and things were closing, or people were just getting drinks at that point, like food was kind of leaving, and I was like, "There's a couple bocadillos." I think T was really hungry, and so I went and got a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and we knew we were leaving at some point, so it was like bocadillo, get it before it's gone.
Yeah.
So yummy.
So that was really fortunate timing because if we had been out, we were not prepared for downpour.
No.
If we'd gotten stuck in that, we really would have been in trouble.
And it wouldn't have been fun, and definitely not fun to walk around in or run around in, but it also wouldn't have been fun to drive in. And it was funny because our friends were like, we got to walk fast. Like they knew. I don't think we were quite as clued in on how bad it could get.
I think I was clued in.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was like suddenly, we got to go.
Yeah, because it went from like sprinkle to massive. Anyway, Granada was gorgeous. I would love to spend more time there. Lots of vendors through that old school or that old town area that were selling. Because I guess we should say really quick, this area, the Alhambra or Granada area, is that Moorish area, right? So there's a lot of Muslim culture still there in some ways, in some respects. And you saw that around, and that was kind of nice because I was like, it feels a little bit Dubai-ish in this way. But a little more colorful, I would say. Anyway, it was a beautiful place. So interesting history there and really interesting architecture, and would love to go back and spend more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd just really love to spend more time in the whole country.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll just finish up real quickly. I mean, we did spend one night in Madrid on our way out of town because we didn't want to have to somehow the only way back to Dubai was through Madrid.
Yeah.
Or it would be super expensive to do a connecting flight from Malaga.
Yeah.
And so we decided we'll just overnight in Madrid the night before.
Yeah.
And then take the flight out from Madrid. And so we did get one night in Madrid. We didn't really do anything touristy there.
But it was an airport hotel.
Yeah, and it was like the best neighborhood of an airport hotel I've ever been. It's like I didn't even realize we were near an airport. We're like in the middle of this really nice residential neighborhood.
And I'd never heard the flights. Right. I was like, I guess this is the airport neighborhood, not in the flight path.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I will say it did take like 15, 20 minutes for the bus to like go around the airport to get to the hotel.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the most convenient to the terminal airport hotel you're ever going to find, but it was really nice. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 little playground areas within like 2 blocks.
I mean, incredible. Like again, with the family friendly, you just were like, why can't we do that here in the States and make things more family friendly? Why is this an issue? And because even at the airport in Malaga, they had a playground in the airport. And I know that some of our airports have playgrounds, but it's just not prominent. It's not everywhere. It's not every wing. Anyway, this was nice. It was this very sweet neighborhood, and we looked up where to eat, and we walked a long way, did the playgrounds a bunch, and then we walked kind of a long way through multiple neighborhoods to get to this kind of hidden cafe, as in you couldn't drive there. It was between apartment buildings and a couple different walking paths. And it was so pretty. And on our way there, we passed all these other kind of cafes and just businesses and stuff. And I was like, this is so pleasant. Like, well, I really like it.
My sense is that you probably were feeling like this is the kind of European living environment I would be interested in experiencing someday.
It was more modern buildings. Like we'd been in, like I think in all these old town areas, they're not modern buildings. So it was more modern buildings. So aesthetically not as gorgeous, but still a very pretty area. Like so much greenery and all these parks and playgrounds and outdoor cafes. And I was like,
well, and extremely walkable.
Very walkable. I mean, we walked the whole way, and it was like a 10, 15-minute walk both ways. Everybody was fine, and it was just so nice to look at. And I just kept looking around at different balconies and just appreciating, like, yes, this life is a nice life. I like it.
So, I don't know, maybe, hopefully, a little bit of a preview of kind of what we might experience in Brussels.
Yeah, hopefully. We know the weather won't be quite the same, but we are looking forward to seeing if there is kind of that cafe walkable life. And where we have our apartment in Brussels, it looks like it on a map that it should be that way, but we haven't seen it yet. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think that brings us to our recurring segment, our excellence and boguses.
That's right.
Of, I guess, our time as tourists in Spain.
Yes. Okay, babe. You go first.
Okay, so my excellent, we'll go back to Madrid for this.
Okay.
Was it in Madrid? Yeah, it was in Madrid because we flew up from Malaga.
Yeah.
The day before, but our flight got delayed.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And our hotel had a free shuttle bus, but you had to put in the time that you wanted to get the shuttle bus. And you're just kind of guessing how long it's going to take to get through the airport and everything. And when we got delayed by like an hour, it's like, well, we're not making that. Because it said on the thing, like, we'll wait for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. And then I'm like, well, I guess we're going to be getting a taxi. But we go out and we just go, well, why not just take a look? And the shuttle driver waited for us.
Yeah, so kind.
She was probably like 45 minutes after we were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And we walk up, but they see the name of the hotel on it, and we go up and are you waiting for us? And sure enough, she was.
I mean, really.
I mean, we were the only ones.
Yeah.
So it's not like other people were inconvenienced by waiting there for somebody.
I'm sure she would not have waited if they were.
But the fact that she waited a pretty good long chunk of time so that we could still get our shuttle bus to the hotel was incredibly helpful.
Yeah, so helpful and really a sweet hotel. Yeah. Loved it. Okay, my excellent is that I've said this before, but I am really a view person. Like everywhere we went in that region, I was just exclaiming. Nick was probably like, okay, I know it's really pretty. You're not as big of a view person, I would say, as in you can like it, but you're not like, oh, wow, all of the time. And that's how I felt everywhere we went. You know, you get on the freeway and I was like, wow, oh my gosh. We're walking on the beach. I'm like, wow, it's so pretty. Did you see that Pueblo? Holy cow. I mean, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great combination of, you have the sea there on one side. You have the mountains on the other. There's green everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it really is
it's stunning.
Picturesque place.
And actually kind of similar to Seattle. And if you're watching our Instagram page now, you know I keep posting pictures of views. So I love a view. I love water, especially. So like mountains to water is something that I just think is so stunning. Okay, so off to boguses. What's your bogus?
Okay, so when we're talking about Malaga City, we're talking about going in. We went in several times.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how to park there was an absolute nightmare. I mean, it's like there are signs that say there's parking this way, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, you're not kind of figuring out where you're going. There's not real clearly marked entrances to these places. They're often these tiny little side roads that then go down, and you're like, how do you get there? How do you find it? And then when you get in there, the parking, we're used to paying heavy parking rates here in Seattle.
Yeah.
It was Seattle level parking rates there in Malaga.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
I don't remember that.
Now in like Arroyo de la Miel was not the same.
And even Granada was pretty cheap.
But in Malaga, because there was no parking.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
It was really expensive. And so, the whole parking thing, they have tiny little parking spots for small cars. So getting in and out of those was always like, how many times do I have to back up and go forward and back up to get into the spots? I mean, the whole parking situation in Malaga was kind of a headache.
Oh, that's funny.
So that was my bogus.
Okay.
What about you?
My bogus is that everything's closed on Sunday. Do I sound like an American tourist? Yes, I do. I am not used to that. And in Dubai, that's not the case. Like nothing's closed on any day. So that in fact, things are open like crazy late hours in Dubai. But yeah, so many things are closed. So you just don't have the same selection of food, for instance, or grocery stores to go to, or if you have some shopping you need to do and you need to do it in Marbella because that's your only day to do it, you can't because it's closed.
Yeah.
So I know that is probably a thing in Belgium because it's also a thing in Germany. So we need to get used to it. And I kind of like the idea of, okay, yeah, things are closed on Sundays. That's a day of rest. That's a day to just be. And I mean, I understand the tradition behind it and I don't even disagree with it. But it was hard as somebody who's not used to it. Yeah. So a bogus, but like, I'm not going to be super irritated about it.
Okay. Well, I think that brings our last episode about our time in Spain to an end.
Oh my gosh. And let's see. The last time we were in Spain was the end of April. And now it is almost August. Yeah.
So
we're committed.
Good memory to think back 3 months to when we were there. But anyway, we will probably have one more episode of this season because we still have to wrap up our time in Dubai.
I know.
Before we get on to our next part of our adventure.
Yeah. We might have to throw in a few extra things about places we went in Dubai that we hadn't covered yet. Mm-hmm. And then also we really want to talk about the things we'll miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the things we won't miss. So stay tuned.
But anyway, until next time, be excellent to each other.
Have a great week, everyone.